Assalamu alaikum. I hope everybody is doing good. So this is in response to Brother Wajahat's question. I hope one of my physician friend will chime in and will help us settle this a little bit. So the main hypothesis that we have is that does human intervention affect patients' time of death? For that, we will do an experiment, and this experiment we cannot do it in real life. This will be a hypothetical experiment because we cannot do it. It will be unethical to do it in real life. But again, we have enough medical knowledge and information that it should make sense. Suppose we have 100 patients who are young, 25 to 30 years old, and they don't have any other major medical condition. And the only thing they have is that they have end-stage renal disease, means their kidneys are really bad and they need a kidney transplant. So whenever a patient is on a kidney transplant waiting list, so they are waiting for a kidney to be available, until then they are on dialysis to keep them alive. And dialysis is very, very important because if a person has end-stage renal disease, need dialysis, and does not get dialysis, then the life expectancy is from 1 week to several weeks, depending upon how much kidney function they have. But keep in mind, they already have end-stage renal disease, and they are not normal. They need dialysis, otherwise they will die. So without dialysis, life expectancy from 1 week to several weeks. And several weeks means, if you compare it from one, it may be like 4, 5, 6, maximum 8, but not a lot. And if somebody is on dialysis, they can actually stay alive on dialysis. Average life expectancy is about 5 to 10 years. So even they don't have the new kidney, and they have really bad, their own kidneys are bad, still they are getting dialysis, and they're still alive for about, average is 5 to 10 years. It can be even longer than that, and I can provide you references if you want. So we have these 100 patients, young, with end-stage renal disease. So what we did, we made two groups, Group A and Group B, and then we randomly assigned these patients to these two groups, so that each patient had equal chance of going into either Group A or Group B. So once we have the Group A and Group B, 50 patient in Group A and 50 patient in Group B, so then we will do a significant human intervention. And that intervention would be that for Group A, we will continue to give them dialysis, and we will continue to keep them on this kidney transplant waiting list. And then we will do whatever we can in terms of medical facilities or medical care. We will give them low fluid, low salt diet. Whereas on Group B, we will do a very different, significant human intervention. And that intervention would be that we will take them off of kidney transplant list. Then we will also stop their dialysis, and then we will put them on high sodium and high fluid diet. So everything bad. So then the end point would be about 6 months. So at 6 months, we will see what happened and how many patients died in Group A and how many patients died in Group B. Again, because this is a hypothetical scenario, so we don't have the exact numbers, but again, based on our medical expertise and medical knowledge, we can make some assumptions which should be very acceptable to everybody. So I believe that on Group A, maybe some patients would die, maybe, but again, most of those patients will be alive. Some of them might have received kidney transplant. Some may still be on dialysis. But as I already mentioned, that even if somebody is just on dialysis, their average life expectancy is from 5 to 10 years. So we are talking about 6 months mark. So most of them will be alive. Whereas in the Group B, as I said, from 1 week to several weeks, that is the total life expectancy when somebody stops dialysis. So I believe by 6 months, maybe nobody will be alive. Most likely everybody would be dead. So what happened here? A couple of things I would like to clarify again. I used 100 patients sample. Technically, we didn't need that big of a sample because we know from our medical knowledge that if somebody stops dialysis, the person is going to be dead within several weeks. So for that kind of results, we don't need a bigger sample. We just need actually a small sample, and that should be enough. But just to be on safe side, I used 100 patient sample. And the other thing we did is we did randomization. So it means each patient had an equal chance of going into group A or group B. So that will also minimize any confounding because of any by chance, maybe something happened. So that's why I use randomization. So end result, what I would say that the patients who were in group B, they died within several weeks because of human intervention. If those people would have been in group A, then they would have survived even until mark 6 months or even longer. So that is my argument, and I'm saying that human intervention can affect these patients or somebody's time of death, as you can see in this experiment, it did.